Good morning everyone, Jackie from Waterlily. I actually just wanted to spend a bit of time today just actually going through with you personally what I use on my skin on a daily basis, and obviously just to explain to you a little bit about what I do to my own skin as well in regards to in-clinic treatments. I am only quite young, I'm only 29. However, I do get a lot of people looking at me going, oh, you know, your skin's gorgeous, you don't need to do anything to it. But that's not the case at all. I actually do spend a lot of time on my skin, and I'm very, very dedicated to my skincare routine that I use as well. The reason for this is obviously everyone has their concerns with their skin. In particular, mine was a little bit of pigmentation, dryness, and obviously I just really wanted to brighten and retexturize my skin. But the main thing as well, and as vain as it sounds, I really wanted to prevent any further damage as well. So I don't want to get to 40 or 50 and then be worried about fixing my skin, because 9 times out of 10 prevention is obviously the best key. So it just makes my skincare journey so much easier for me later in life. So just to give you a brief breakdown of what I've been using, I know it looks like a lot of products. It virtually takes me a couple of minutes a day. It's nothing excessive. So obviously starting with my brightening foaming cleanser, that's fantastic for helping to lift that pigmentation and give me that real luminous glow within my skin as well. Really, really good for removing makeup, and I have no problems with any residue left on my skin, and I find it beautiful and creamy. It really lathers up and it smells really, really divine as well, which is great. So I use that morning and night. In the morning also what I do is I use my B2 serum. So this is my plumping and hydrating serum. Really, again, it gives me that dewy complexion, but really just make sure that I stay hydrated throughout the day and plumps up my cells so that when I'm putting anything else on top, like my moisturizers or my makeup, it goes on really nice and smooth, and I look really glowy throughout the whole day as well, which is fantastic. Good thing with this as well is, besides the fact that I obviously want to maintain hydration in my skin, I do actually get quite irritated red skin at times as well. And this is packed full of anti-inflammatories and nutrients to help promote a healthier skin and to diminish that redness as well, which is fantastic. So following that, I actually use a little bit of my hydrating lotion. Now the reason I use the hydrating lotion is because it's very, very light, but again, really full of antioxidants and also anti-inflammatories. So because after this, I apply an SPF sheer tint, I just want something really light. But sometimes I find if I don't use anything over my B2, because I am quite dry, I don't get that real satisfying hydration, so a tiny little bit of this is great. This is predominantly for reactive skin types or oily skin types, but I find it fantastic for me as well. So you can change things to fit them into your routine as well. So that's my morning routine. And then as I said, I use my SPF 30 sheer tint. I don't like very heavy foundations for throughout the day. So this is killing two birds with one stone. It gives me a little bit of color, a little bit of coverage. I love that when I blend it into my skin, you can't actually see it on there. However, when you take it off, you can clearly tell I've had a bit of color and a bit of coverage on there as well. So it's really great, really creamy, really nice and thin, but fantastic. And then I follow with my Ultraceuticals powder. I've got 2 of these. One's as a bronzer to enhance color, and one's actually my skin tone to obviously give me a little bit of coverage as well. And even though it's a mineral foundation or a mineral powder, it is triple milled, so it's very, very fine, and the particles spread really nicely on my skin. I get superior coverage. It even really conceals any little spots that I get as well, and even just using my finger, I find I can conceal under the eye area. It doesn't look really heavy, it doesn't look really powdery or velvety on my skin, which I love. I still get that sort of more dewy complexion as well, which is fantastic. So I know some of us can have a few issues with powders because they can feel a bit drying. As a dry skin type, I never have an issue. The other good thing with these as well is they do have the brightening components in there, so the outer carpets are really good for my pigmentation that I suffer from. And yeah, I love it. Really easy, compact, nice and airtight. I don't have any issues, and I don't find that it fluffs and goes everywhere on my makeup case either, which is a bonus because otherwise it's really, really messy. Moving to my night routine, so again I cleanse with the Ultra Brightening Foaming Cleanser. Being that I've got makeup on, I'll cleanse twice. First cleanse cleanses the day, as we say, so it removes any impurities from the surface of the skin. Your second cleanse is what's actually going to get in there and remove any of that makeup or debris, excess oil, dead skin cells sitting in the top of those follicles and pores as well. So it is really important to double cleanse if you're wearing makeup, or even just from the day, because you get pollutants, sebum, you know, you sweat as well. So it's always really nice to make sure you go to bed with a really super clean canvas. So following my cleanser, once a week I use the gentle exfoliating gel, so it's got the little beads in there, and what that does is that manually exfoliates my skin, removes any impurities. It does have a small amount of glycolic in there as well, so it's really clarifying, and it really gets anything out of the pores that might be a little bit blocked or a little bit congested. Great for blackheads as well, but really just gives my skin that little bit of refinement and gives it that little bit of a pep up as well, so which is fantastic, and that's great for on the body. So if you suffer from any body imperfections like breakouts, anything like that, it's fantastic. I even suffer from hyperkeratosis on the back of my arms, which is a little sort of, it's like a granular feeling on the back of my arms. It gets a bit red and bumpy, and I rub it on, leave it for a couple of minutes and rinse it off, and it helps to keep that at bay as well. So keep that in mind if you've got anyone that suffers from that. Following my cleansing routine, I use the Ultra Diminishing Complex. Now this is a AHA and BHA free pigmentation treatment for the skin. So if you find anyone that's a little bit sensitive to salicylics or lactics, anything that's overstimulating, this is fantastic. It's still got all your pigmentation inhibitors in there. So again, your Melissa artocarpus, which gets in there and helps to prevent the way in which pigmentation arises within the skin, but also treats pigmentation that's already existing on the skin as well. So it's fantastic. It's a very light formula. It goes into the skin, instantly absorbs, and almost feels like it evaporates a little bit within the skin. So that I find it fantastic. It's non-heavy, and because I've got to then follow with other products on top, I don't feel like it's very heavy and then I'm having too much on my skin all at once. Following my Ultra Diminishing Complex, I use my vitamin A. Now, I don't think there's a lady in the world that isn't going to love vitamin A. Again, I'm a dry skin type, and I have a lot of ladies that come in and go, I'm not going to use a vitamin A, it dries my skin out. I don't find this with this vitamin A. The way in which they've made this vitamin A is fantastic. It's got a unique technology in there called an ultra reti wax. Now what that does is that encapsulates the molecule of vitamin A and brings it into the skin before it's dispersed. So I find no one, or hardly anyone that I've come across, gets any topical irritations or excessive dryness from this vitamin A. I use it for the fact that it does help to speed up my cellular metabolism and cellular recovery. So again, it just keeps everything nice and refined, keeps my skin really happy, keeps my cells moving at that more heightened rate as well. And what that does is it helps to diminish fine lines. And again, over time, it helps to lift things like pigments and impurities within the skin. Also great for anyone that suffers from acne, because it's got, again, anti-inflammatories built in there. So it gets and reduces the redness, but also works on slowing down the way in which overactive sebaceous glands pump out oil as well. So again, a great all-rounder. I don't think there's anyone that shouldn't be on vitamin A, unless for other concerns that you shouldn't be, but you would know. Following all of that, I just use my Ultra Hydrating Lotion on top. Again, I find this one better for me just because it's a little bit lighter and because of the anti-inflammatory properties in there as well. However, if I am feeling particularly dry, if it's throughout summer, or especially being indoors a lot, if you're in heating or air conditioning, something like the Ultra Moist is fantastic. It's a little bit heavier. Again, it still breathes, so you don't get any of that oily, congested feeling on the surface. I just find this one's best for me. So obviously when you come in, we can dedicate a skincare routine specifically for you, your skin type and your concerns. That's the great thing with Ultraceuticals. It's got so many avenues of treatments and products that no one ever generally gets stuck. The other thing I use, obviously, everyone, in summer, you should definitely be using an SPF. I really like this one. It is an SPF 50+ and it's hydrating as well. So it gives me that UV protection, and it also helps to keep my skin really, really hydrated. They've actually made it or designed it for people that are quite active as well. So I tend to find if I'm doing a boot camp outdoors or at the beach, when I get a little bit hot or a little bit sweaty, it doesn't go all sticky and tacky on my skin. And I tend to find as well, if I do for whatever reason get a little bit mildly burnt, if I've been a bit silly and missed a patch, it actually helps to calm it down as well, which is really fantastic. Great for small children. It gives them that 100% great coverage, and then that way they won't get irritated skin types or anything like that, because the chemical payload's a lot nicer for smaller children with more delicate skin types, and obviously everyone with any delicate skin types as well. The only other thing I tend to do on my skin at home, maybe once a week, twice a week, is my dermal rolling. Now the reason I do this is its other name is collagen induction therapy. It works on the wound healing system within your skin. So it stimulates your fibroblasts, and your fibroblasts are little cells that float around in your intercellular network, and they are responsible for regenerating or helping to aid your collagen and elastin reproductivity as well. So what that's responsible for is keeping our skin really nice and plump. It keeps it nice and thickened and prevents, you know, aging, fine lines, discolorations, enlarged pores. So it's really good to help keep my dermal epidermal junction really super healthy, and then I don't get that sort of concaving effect that happens as we get older, which is virtually a line. So it's really great for around the eyes, neck, the little lines that you get down here, and also the forehead as well. I'm a really bad frowner, I get told off all the time. So I'm definitely working on those fine lines because I don't want them when I get older. Obviously we're always going to age, but we can age gracefully with the help of things like this, and it's not invasive to use at home. It's super simple. One of the most effective tools I've found to use at home. So get onto one of these, they're fantastic. If I'm feeling particularly dry, I might do something like an energizing or a replenishing mask just once a week. And obviously there's different masks to dedicate to different skin types, whether it's acne or aging, so it just depends on what you're after. A couple of times a year I will go through the process of having a course of peels. Generally it'll be something like a lactic or an azyme based peel, and they both serve different purposes, so it just feels, how I sort of determine which peel I'm going to do is what my skin's sort of presenting at that time. So maybe sort of just after summer I might do something like an azyme treatment. So it may be a course of 3 to 6 azyme treatments, and what that does is that really replenishes and re-energizes my skin post summer, because that's when I tend to get a little bit more of my pigmentation. So I get in there, get my azymes on. It's really refining, super anti-aging, corrective, plumping, hydrating. You do peel a little bit, but fantastic overall. It's like a holiday glow that you get on your skin post azyme, and really a really great treatment if you really want to up the ante and have something that little bit stronger on your skin in regards to clinical treatments. Say at the opposite end of the year, after winter, coming up towards summer, shall we say, I might do a course of something like a lactic, just to really rehydrate my skin, get the synergy of that cellular network happening again, and really just brighten and retexturize the surface. So there's no limitations as to what we can do on your skin in clinic or even at home. You can make your home care routine as hard or as easy as you want it to be, or to fit into your routine that you've got if you're a little bit more time poor, or if you've got the time to dedicate to your skin. There's always an avenue that we can do for you here. And the great thing with the Ultraceuticals range is there's something that will suit everyone. But yeah, I just wanted to take you through what I use at home, just so that you know when you come in, I do just as much hard work to myself as I expect out of my clients, because this is definitely how you get results. It's no different than you know, going to the gym. If you don't combine the gym with a nice diet and other sort of forms of exercise and healthy lifestyle, they need to complement each other. It's not going to be a miracle if you don't put the hard work into it. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to what I do to my skin, and just to show you that it is super important, and if you're dedicated you can definitely get the results that you want. So it'd be lovely to meet you all if you'd like to come in, and lovely to see you again. And please feel free to come in and pick my brain, because I've got so much knowledge that I'd love to share with everyone, and so many exciting treatments that we can do in here. There's generally always something that we can do to help you. So again, it'd be lovely to see you soon, and hopefully that's a little bit more information for you.